One of these 15 businesses runs profit margins north of 80%, higher than most software companies. And it involves a truck, a hose, and something most people would rather not think about. I'm Chris, and this is Boring Money with Chris, where we dig through the dirt so you don't have to. Today we're ranking 15 small-town businesses by pure profit margin, and some of these owners quietly clear 70, even 80% on every dollar. Number 15 starts with a squeegee. Number 15, window cleaning for offices. It sounds like a summer job, but done right, it's a root business with brutal simplicity. One owner in Ohio started with a bucket, a squeegee, and a list of 40 office buildings. Within 3 years, he had 6 guys on contracts, billing monthly whether or not anyone thinks about it. Startup cost is shockingly low, often under $5,000 for basic gear. Margins usually land between 50 and 60% because the only real cost is labor and a little soap. The AI edge here is scheduling software that routes crews to hit 12 buildings a day instead of 8, and drone-assisted inspection for high-rise jobs that used to need rope crews. It's not glamorous, it's recurring, and recurring, boring revenue is exactly what this list is about. Number 14, septic tank pumping. Nobody dreams of this job as a kid, and that's exactly why it prints money. A used pump truck runs $60,000 to $100,000, but each job takes under an hour and bills $250 to $500. Fuel and time are the only real costs, so margins often sit near 60%. One family-owned outfit in rural Georgia has run the same 3 trucks for 20 years and never advertised once, because everyone needs a pump eventually or things get very unpleasant. The AI edge now is route optimization that groups jobs by neighborhood and predictive scheduling that texts customers before their tank is likely to back up. Nobody's competing for this business. That's the whole point. Number 13, car wash subscriptions. This one flipped the industry upside down. Instead of charging $8 a wash, owners now charge $30 a month for unlimited visits, and most people forget to cancel. A modern express tunnel wash costs $1 to $3 million to build, which sounds steep, but membership models push margins toward 50% because water, soap, and electricity barely move once volume goes up. One operator in Texas grew from 400 to 4,000 subscribers in 2 years just by adding a license plate camera system that charges cars automatically. No stopping, no card swipe. AI-driven equipment now predicts brush wear and water chemistry in real time, cutting maintenance costs nobody used to track. It's a subscription box, except the box is your car. Number 12, mailbox and shipping stores. Think of the little storefront wedged between a nail salon and a pizza place. Startup costs run $40,000 to $150,000 for a franchise, but the real money is in the mailbox rentals, notary services, and packaging fees that stack up quietly every single day. Margins average around 15 to 20%, lower than most on this list, but stable almost to a fault, since customers pay monthly whether they walk in or not. One owner in Arizona added same-day AI-routed courier pickups for local businesses and doubled his shipping volume without adding staff. It's not the flashiest number here, but it might be the calmest. Speaking of calm, wait until you hear about the business that runs almost entirely on autopilot at number 9. Number 11, garage door repair. Springs snap, openers die, and when they do, people want it fixed today, not next week. A single technician with a van and basic tools can start for $15,000 and bill $150 to $400 per job. Parts are cheap, labor is the product, so margins commonly reach 50 to 60%. One 2-man crew in Michigan uses an AI phone system that answers calls, quotes jobs, and books the schedule automatically, meaning they never miss a lead even at midnight when someone's door won't budge. That kind of always-on booking used to require a full-time receptionist. Now it costs less than a coffee subscription. Boring problem, urgent timing, healthy margin. That combination shows up again and again on this list. Number 10, propane tank exchange. Those metal cages outside gas stations and hardware stores are quietly one of the highest margin setups on this whole list. A distributor buys empty tanks, refills them centrally, and swaps them out for $20 to $30 each. while the actual propane inside costs just a few dollars. Margins regularly clear 70% once the swap network is running. One regional operator in Missouri manages 400 cages remotely using weight sensors that report which locations are nearly empty before a driver even shows up. That single tweak cut wasted refill runs by a third. No storefront, no customer service counter, just cages, trucks, and sensors quietly working while everyone else is grilling burgers. Number 9. Mobile mechanic services. Instead of a shop with rent and a lift, the shop is the van and it comes to you. Startup costs run $20,000 to $50,000 for tools and a reliable vehicle, but there's no lease payment eating into profit. Jobs like brake pads or alternators bill $80 to $150 an hour, and margins often land near 50% since overhead is almost nothing. One mechanic in Colorado uses an AI diagnostic app that reads a car's error codes before he even leaves his driveway. So he arrives with the right part already in hand instead of guessing. That single habit doubled the number of jobs he could finish in a day. No rent, no waiting room, just a wrench and a full calendar. Number 8. Party tent and chair rentals. Weddings, graduations, and backyard parties happen every weekend somewhere, and the equipment gets rented out again and again for years. A starter inventory of tents, tables, and chairs runs $20,000 to $60,000. But after that first season, it's almost pure profit, since the same gear rents 50+ times a year. Margins commonly hit 60% to 70% once the fleet is paid off. One rental company in rural Pennsylvania uses AI booking software that packs 3 events into a single Saturday delivery loop instead of 3 separate trips, cutting fuel and labor costs dramatically. The tents come down Monday morning, get folded, and wait quietly for the next payday to roll around next weekend. Number 7. Car hauling. Somebody always needs a vehicle moved across the state, whether it's a dealership restocking inventory or a family relocating. A multi-car trailer and a solid truck cost $60,000 to $100,000, but a single run can haul 6 to 9 vehicles at once, billing $500 to $1,000 per car. Fuel is the main expense, which keeps margins around 40% to 50%, especially the efficient routes. One independent hauler in Tennessee uses AI load-matching apps that fill every open slot on his trailer before he even leaves the yard, so he's never driving with empty space. Full trailer, full margin, that's the entire business model in one sentence. Number 6. Cardboard baling and recycling. Quick question for you. What do you think happens to every cardboard box behind a grocery store? Someone's getting paid for it. A baling machine costs $15,000 to $40,000, and it compresses loose cardboard into dense bales that recyclers pay real money for by weight. Owners who service multiple stores on contract can gross margins near 60% since collection routes are short and the material is essentially free. One operator in Illinois runs a small fleet of AI-routed pickup trucks that hit 20 stores a day, guided by weight sensors on the bins themselves that flag which ones are actually full. Trash to most people. Payday to him. Number 5. Axe-throwing venues. This one leans more entertainment than utility, but the economics are surprisingly clean. A single location costs $100,000 to $300,000 to build out, mostly for lanes, safety netting, and axes themselves, which last for years. Once open, margins on bookings often reach 60% to 70%, since the real product is time in a lane, not physical inventory. One venue in Wisconsin uses AI-based booking software that fills off-peak weekday hours with corporate team events, turning dead afternoons into steady income. Coming up next, a business almost nobody notices exists, sitting quietly inside every elevator you've ever ridden. Number 4. Elevator phone line monitoring. Every elevator by law needs a working emergency phone line, and someone has to keep that line active and monitored around the clock. A monitoring company can manage thousands of elevator lines from one small call center, charging building owners a modest monthly fee per unit. Because the infrastructure is largely automated, margins commonly exceed 70% once a company passes a few hundred contracts. One provider in New Jersey uses AI voice systems to instantly triage calls, telling real dispatchers within seconds whether it's a stuck elevator or a false alarm. Thousands of elevators, one quiet office, and a fee that renews itself every single month without anyone lifting a finger. Number 3, catch basin cleaning. Cities and shopping centers are legally required to keep storm drains clear, and most property managers have no interest in doing it themselves. A vacuum truck costs $80,000 to $150,000, but municipal contracts are steady, recurring, and rarely competitive, since few companies want the work. Margins typically run 50 to 60%, especially with multi-year government contracts locked in. One operator in Oregon uses AI-scheduled routes and sensor readings to know exactly which basins are clogged before a storm hits, avoiding wasted trips to basins that don't need attention yet. It is unglamorous work with a very glamorous number attached to the profit line. Number 2, farmland leasing. You don't have to plant a single seed to make this work. Landowners lease acreage to working farmers for cash rent, often 8% or more of the land's value annually, with essentially zero labor and almost no overhead once the lease is signed. Margins can push past 80% because there's no equipment, no crop risk, and no employees to manage, just the land itself and a signed agreement. One landowner in Iowa uses AI satellite imagery to monitor soil health and crop rotation on leased land, protecting the property's long-term value without ever stepping into the field. It is about as close to owning a business that runs itself as anything on this list. And number 1, the one nobody sees coming, culvert cleaning. Underneath every road, driveway, and highway sits a pipe that floods and fails if it's not cleared, and almost nobody is trained or equipped to do it. A single jetting truck and camera rig costs $50,000 to $90,000, but municipalities, counties, and highway departments pay premium contract rates because flooding a road costs them far more. Margins regularly clear 70 to 80%, among the highest on this entire list, since equipment lasts years and labor is minimal. One small contractor in Vermont uses an AI-guided inspection camera that maps culvert damage automatically, letting him bid on county contracts before competitors even know the job exists. Nobody thinks about culverts until one fails. He thinks about them constantly, and it shows in the bank account. So here's the pattern across all 15. The businesses with the fattest margins are almost never exciting. They're the ones nobody wants to do, protected by boredom instead of competition, and now sharpened further by AI handling the scheduling, routing, and guesswork that used to eat into the profit. Which one on this list surprised you the most? Tell me in the comments. I actually read them. And before you go chasing any of these, do your own digging and talk to a professional about the real numbers in your area. If you like this tour through the boring side of money, subscribe. There's a lot more where this came from.